Fellas, say goodbye to Chuck Sherman the boy. I am now a man. I highly recommend you join the club. We are doing the wild thing all night.
Acid house music.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Sherm.
Sherman, I cook all this food. Is that all you gonna eat?
General Sherman realized and understood the importance of house music.
So, do you know anything about techno?
No.
Listen.
Get it on. Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of Sherm in the Booth. I'm, of course, your host, Sherm. Today is Wednesday, August 25th, 2021, and you are tuned in to episode 175, and I am so excited to share this one with you. Episode 175 features the CEO and founder of Whet Travel, Jason Beukema. I always love getting the full story on playmakers from behind the scenes, and we had such a great interview. He is making a massive impact on so many levels, and I have a profound amount of respect for him and his company. In episode 175, we got it all in and started talking about his early days and how he found his way. Born and raised in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Jason and his family were always taking trips together and was always encouraged to pursue what he loved most in life. Heavily influenced by his two great uncles, Jason eventually decided to switch majors from medicine to entrepreneurship. He weaved his way through various opportunities until he organized a trip for his friends. He called it the Groove Cruise, and shortly after started Whet Travel. Now, of course, we talked about building Whet Travel. Jason is, without a doubt, one of the most hardworking people I've ever met, but his main mission is not to make money, it's to change people's lives. Whet means to excite, and every cruise or event they organize ensures that anyone who comes on will always have some stories to remember. Since inception, Jason has done 26 full ship cruises across 15,000 people each year, and Whet has been ranked Inc. magazine's #4 fastest growing travel company in the country, on top of countless awards and features. Like they say, if you build it, they will come. And they keep coming back, baby. Jason and I also had a great discussion on how he gives back and always stays community focused. Jason and Whet Travel give back in so many ways, and it's just another reason why they've made such a massive impact. Whether it be the Whet Foundation providing programs to deserving children in South Florida, Mexico, and the Caribbean, or helping organize a marriage proposal during a Dash Berlin set on the Groove Cruise, the Whet Travel team always goes the extra mile for those who ask. This interview was filled with stories of success and failure, long nights and early mornings, but most of all, it was filled with optimism and joy. Jason is a truly special guy, and I'm inspired by him and his unwavering desire to make people smile. I love that. Jason, thanks so much for coming on the show. I genuinely enjoyed this interview, and I cannot wait to meet you in person someday soon. Now let's get into it right now so you guys can hear his story for yourselves. This is episode 175 with Jason Beukema. Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Sherm in the Booth. And I don't use that word special lightly, but I got to use it here today. We're here with a very special entrepreneur, someone who's made a massive impact on many, many people's lives and given opportunities to countless individuals and given back, most importantly. We're here with Jason Beukema, who just recently discovered he's been saying his last name incorrectly for all these years. It's the new Jason in front of me then right now.
Exactly. Starting over.
That's right. Jason, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me,
real
Matt.
quick. Absolutely, man. You're about to hit your 50th state right now, North Dakota, currently in
That's
Montana.
right.
I mean, I'm on pins and needles waiting for you to cross that border. Are you ready right now?
I know there's a whole paparazzi waiting for me to cross that line. So yeah.
All 40 people from North Dakota are waiting for you.
Exactly. They're all over there just itching. There's nothing going on over there. They're just waiting for me to get there just to get the newspaper going. Paparazzi, it's a big deal.
There's one newspaper for the whole state, and every 5 chickens counts as one person, I hear.
Exactly.
And every pound of potatoes is like maybe half a person. So that's what they got.
Right. Exactly.
You let me know. Please document the process there. We're all curious.
Oh, man.
Maybe I have some listeners in North Dakota. Hey, we love North Dakota, guys.
We love it. It's great. Fargo.
Oh, Fargo. Amazing. Jason, again, thank you so much for coming on the show. I always like to kick off the interviews with sort of an open-ended question, and I think you're going to like this one. Something that I like to live my life by, a few mottos, one of which is I want to see what happens if I don't give up.
And it's something that really drives me. I think we all have moments where we do want to give up. It's really easy to, but we always have to push ourselves a little bit further. When I say that motto or you know, that the inspirational quote, is there something that comes to mind for you on a personal level?
Yeah. So basically about never giving up. Yeah. I mean, I've been in business now going on 18 years, and just in that realm of that large amount of time, I mean, there's been multiple times where I've just been like, man, this is just, it's too much shit. Like just the legal, the financing, where's the money going to come from sometimes? And just like dealing with artists and agents and managers, and just like weather issues and just drama, like you would not even believe. And sometimes I'm just like, man, why the heck am I doing all this?
Yeah.
And then I just, every time I feel like that, I just think back and I'm like, you know, there's somebody's life that I'm going to change from this. And that's what it's all about. And that's what keeps driving me to this day, is just making people happy, changing people's lives, and creating those once in a life moments that people are going to remember forever. That's what keeps me driving. It's never been about the money. I have a mission to excite the lives of 1 million people. And if I do that, you know, I'll be financially good, but you know, it's always been about the people, not necessarily about the money. And that's always what drives me. And that's what gets me through all the BS. It's just like, the excitement of all those people getting back together, or new people experiencing it for the first time, and their eyes like just bug-eyed, like what in the world is going on? This is like a utopia playground that just I never even knew existed. Like, well, how does this even happen? And it's hard to explain group cruise anyway. And so yeah, just seeing that energy and that vibe and like that community and those relationships that are formed is just, that's what keeps me going through all the BS for sure.
Love that. It's very selfless of you. I really respect that. And I'm sure you've dealt with, I mean, I would go ahead and say probably thousands of things that have been outside of your control, things like the weather and, you know, people that didn't follow through on commitment. And I mean, you probably have found yourself in a pinch many, many times. So.
Oh Lord, man. The last cruise that we had was a month before COVID, like a month and a half before the world shut down. And we had Above and Beyond on the beach, and they were an act that I've been dying to book for a decade. Easy. Yeah. And I've always wanted them. I got even my trans shirt on tonight. So I was just so excited that we booked them, and they weren't coming on the ship. They were playing in Costa Maya in Mexico. And so it was bad weather. There were 2 ships that were supposed to be docking that day. The other one pulled out, and they're like, we're not docking. The weather is too rough. The seas are too rough. And I'm like, talking to the captain, I'm like, look, like you've got to dock this boat, like do whatever you can. So we're all just like at the side of the ship, like watching this guy try to dock the boat with these just massive waves. And he tried 6 times to dock the boat safely. And we're just like, you gotta be kidding me. And we're supposed to be off the ship at like 7 a.m., then 8 a.m., then 9 a.m., then 10 a.m. And we're just like, you gotta figure it out. You gotta do this. And eventually he was like, just figured it out. He did it. And then it starts pouring rain. And I'm like, no way. So yeah, we get to the venue. We're talking to the Above and Beyond guys, and everybody's getting off the ship to get on shuttles over there. And it starts absolute downpouring. And I've got this production company from Mexico. Yeah. And they didn't have things proper. So my team comes out, and they're just like securing stuff. And there's wires that could blow up in the rain and weren't covered, and electrocution. We're just like, oh man. So I swear to God, that was during I would say her name wrong, Q Ryan's set. I can't remember. She's an amazing artist. Yeah. On Anjuna. And it was raining during her set, and no one left. And then all of a sudden, like it was like the weather just parted. It was like something from another universe or something. Just all of a sudden, the clouds got rid of the clouds. No rain. Above and Beyond came and performed. As soon as they were done, downpoured again. Wow. And I was like, God, kidding me. Like, this is insane. And I've been planning this shit for like over a year, every single detail, every single minute, like to the minute of like all the stuff we're doing with our charity in Mexico and our foundation and like all the stuff that we had planned. And it's just like something like that can just throw everything out the window, and you just got to roll with it. I mean, we had a backup plan if they weren't able to perform on the beach. We did have a backup plan, but man, stuff like that, it's just like, and that's just the last one I've done. That was the 33rd sailing.
That's the most recent example.
that's just the one that pops in my head off the bat. So yeah, never a dull moment.
There is a trance god though. It kind of sounds like, huh?
It sounds like it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
My gosh. I think I found out why you guys bring in such great trance acts then.
Right. Exactly.
I found the
I like house and techno, but I love trance too, man. And I love that community of people as well, for sure. There's definitely a time and a place with trance. So yeah, love it.
Unreal. Well, I mean, you were born and raised in Michigan and went to Central Michigan University. When did you get into trance music? What was it like growing up for you?
Growing up, it was all old school hip hop. I mean, nobody listened to electronic dance music.
No, none Michigan. At all.
Growing up in Grand Rapids, like besides Shannon the Spin Dog.
Oh yeah, and you're on the G-Rap side. Oh, for sure, man. Yeah.
My boy Shannon Williams, who plays on Groupies all the time now, he kind of started electronic music in Western Michigan. So, so yeah, it's been. I didn't get into it in high school and college. It was after college. My roommate took me to a show. It was, I think my first one was Paul Van Dyke or Carl Cox. And I was just like, what in the world is this?
Straight up.
This is just crazy. And I didn't really like it the first time or two, to be honest. And then all of a sudden I had a breakthrough moment where I was just like, oh, I get it now. I get it. I don't know if I did some more drinks that night or what, but I was like, oh, now I understand. This is just the best ever. Man, just the community of people and the vibe. I just totally fell in love with it.
Got to feel it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It's hard to understand. I always try and show my friends house music, and like, you can't play it on a Bose speaker. You can't put it on an AirPod. You got to go there and you got to experience it. It's more than the music. Yep. I know that resonates with you. It's about the people. It's about the connection with the artists. And you really get that in the house and techno and trance space, though. And I love hip hop too. I'm like I have like a vice for Wiz Khalifa and Travis Scott. I don't know why. I have no idea why, but I love the community that the electronic music industry brings.
Yeah, me too. Old school hip hop's my jam, though.
Yeah. Give me down
Lake Michigan. Oh, I mean, Notorious B.I.G. is my favorite. He's the best rapper of all time. And I was in where was I? I was in Missoula, Montana yesterday. There was a barbecue place called Notorious P.I.G.
What? Oh, you stopped. Yeah, you did.
I was like, I have got to stop and take a picture.
Biggie, let's go all the way in Montana. Yeah, tell me why I was, 14 years old, knowing all the words to the 10 crack commandments.
Oh, for sure. Every single word to the 10 crack commandments.
Like, didn't sing that one in front of mom.
For sure.
Never get high on your own supply. Matt, what are you singing?
What supply are you talking about, Matt?
Mom, it's Notorious B.I.G. I'm learning about, the basics of trapping on the corner.
My supply of crayons.
Oh my gosh, you're hilarious. Unbelievable. So I was doing my research, like I said. It looks like you were an entrepreneurship major. You graduated in 2000, and then you got your first job at Southern Touch Tours and were a motor coach, like tour guide.
Yeah, I'll take it a step back for your viewers. Just if anybody's ever stuck and they're not sure what the hell to do with their life, I'll tell you a little quick story that might resonate with some of you out there that are kind of in a dead end situation. You don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
So I was in college. I was in pre-med. I was about to take the MCAT to go to medical school, and I always want to be a doctor my entire life. And I went to school in Australia for a semester. I came back and I was talking to my great uncle. They were my two most influential people in my life were my two great uncles. Mm-hmm. My one great uncle was an entrepreneur. I was showing him my photos from Australia, and then he was showing me this map, and on the map he had pins, and each pin was correlated to a photo album. And I'm like, show me Russia, show me Argentina, show me this. And I'm just like, what? There's so many cool places in this world. So I kind of got the travel bug from going to Australia and traveling with my family when I was younger and going on cruises a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then my other great uncle, he was a practicing physician until he was 92 years old. And he didn't tell me not to go into medicine, but he's like, Jason, could you imagine seeing a patient and not being able to give them a certain drug or a certain procedure because their medical insurance won't accept it? And I was like, well, it's kind of effed up. So the doctors don't really make the decisions in this game, and the drug companies and the pharmaceutical companies and the insurance companies make all the rules. And I'm like, that's kind of messed up. So thankfully he didn't say not to go into it and so forth, but he just said, could you imagine that situation? And then I followed an anesthesiologist around for a day and got to see an open heart surgery. And it was one of the most fascinating things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It was following a surgeon around. And he said, I asked him, he's filling out some paperwork. And I asked him, I said, what are you doing there? And he said, well, this is how we get paid. And I said, well, how much do you get paid? And he's like, well, I make middle six figures a year. And I was like, all right, damn, that's cool. And and then I was like, so if you were to go through it all again, would you do it? Because I was about to go to medical school, then residency 4 years, then post-residency 4 years, and specialty school. Like it was like 12 more years after college. Like it was like way more school. And then I don't even know how much of that I can't even think fathom. And he was just like, I wouldn't do it all over again. He's like, I get paged when I'm at my daughter's dance recital or my son's baseball game or whatever, and I gotta leave. Yeah. And he's like, I got all the toys and houses and like all this stuff, but if I were to do it all over again, he's like, I would get into medical insurance. He goes, that's where all the money is. And I was just like, ding, ding, ding. My uncle's saying this guy's saying this. I'm like, that's just messed up. So I thought about why I wanted to be a doctor. And I want to be a doctor because I want to make a lot of money and I love to help people. And so my other great uncle was an entrepreneur and he helped more people than a doctor could help. And he made more money than a doctor could make. And so that was kind of my mission. So I switched my degree to entrepreneurship, graduated from Central Michigan with an entrepreneurship degree, and got in a lot of debt. I had a business in college, got in a ton of debt. And then I moved to Atlanta and had to get a job. So I ended up working because my business didn't work. So I ended up getting a job at Georgia Pacific, which is a Fortune 100 company in Atlanta, Georgia, during the day. And at nights and weekends, I sold timeshares for Radisson Vacation Villas. Wow. So I was grinding. And during that time, as I was grinding out of debt, my work would pay for school. And I'm like, well, I'm not going back to school, but I ended up hiring a Franklin Covey coach. And during that process, he basically said, find something you love to do and find a way to get paid to do it. And if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I was miserable. Like I was in cubicle nation. Everybody hated their jobs. People were getting fired left and right. God. And I'm just like, this is terrible. And this is not what life is all about. Yeah. So I'm thinking about, well, what do I love to do? Well, I love to go on vacation. So I better figure out a way to get paid to go on vacation. So I started screwing around the internet and I found this school in San Francisco called the International Tour Management Institute. So I came out there. I told my work I needed 2 weeks off for personal reasons. I went out there, I took the course, I came back, and then I got fired. And I was the #1 salesperson in the United States selling fiberglass insulation. So I got fired. And then I'm in the travel industry. So I'm like putting resumes out. 2 weeks later, September 11th hits, World Trade Centers fall down, and the entire travel industry shuts down, which was kind of what we recently have been gone through in the last year and a half. Yeah. No travel agencies, no travel companies, period, hiring. I mean, now they are, but they weren't for the past year and a half. Right. So but I knew that was it. Started grinding. My first job was at Southern Touch Tours. And I basically started doing motor coach tours around North America. So my specialty was Alaska, Canadian Rockies. I did historic American tours on the East Coast, national park tours out West. Wow. And then as I used to move between Atlanta, LA, and Seattle during different parts of the year. And then all my friends were like, put a trip together and we'll go. And I was like, all right. So I don't want to put my friends on a bus, but the cruises are kind of cool, but they're boring because they're all families and old people, and the music and the nightlife stinks and still does to this day, in my opinion. Yeah. So I had a 375 person email list. I had no resources. I had no money. I didn't know anybody in the cruise industry. I didn't know one DJ, and I started a cruise. I called it the Groove Cruise. And from that 375 person email list, I had 125 people that went on it. Wow. I saw how much money the travel agency made off of me. And then I started up my own company. And I put a business plan together to charter a cruise ship in 5 years. And basically my goal was to double it every year. So 125, 250, 500, 1,000, 2,000. Yeah. So 2,000 people is like the smallest ship. So again, I had no money and no resources. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I didn't know anybody in the cruise industry or the music industry. And I just grinded, like kind of your first point about just sticking it out. I mean, no one had done what I was trying to do before. Yeah. And I just knew I was onto something. After that first one, I just knew it. I knew I was onto something. People's lives were changed by that 125 people. A lot of them keep in touch to this day. It's amazing. Being in front of their weddings and like all this stuff. Like it was just a once in a lifetime thing. And it was just really cool. So just to get to the close of this longer story. Yeah, love it. So it took me 7 years to charter my first ship, not 5. And since then I've done 26 full ship cruises. Yeah. And we were Carnival and Norwegian's Charter Partner of the Year. And then we've been in like press and Travel Channel and
Yeah.
Fox and USA Today and blah 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 blah, all that good stuff. So yeah, it's been a wild ride. I've learned a lot, and made money, lost money, and just always try to stay focused on the main goal, which is the people and the community and connections and relationships and
having fun too at the core.
That's what it's all. I mean, I had a great quote today that I read. It's not about the pursuit of happiness. It's about the happiness of pursuit.
Whoa.
And I thought that was like, I was like,
dropping bombs right now. That is good. Yeah.
Bam.
I'm sweating.
Bam. I was like, damn, that just hit differently right there. It's all about
end the interview right there, and that'd be the best interview.
It's not the pursuit of happiness. It's the happiness of pursuit.
Wow. That's amazing.
That's it. That's all life is right there. One sentence.
Gosh. It's so funny you bring up the stories about all the doctors. My dad's a GI, and
oh, nice.
He, I've watched him my whole life work harder than damn near everybody else. He's had so much success. And, for a long time, I remember he brought me into the hospital. I saw him, stick a scope down in people. We would get magazines in the mail of like the intestine. I'd be like, what is this stuff? Right. But,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Wild stuff. And he's an amazing guy. And I've always asked him those questions, those simple questions, right? Like, why did you do it? Why do you continue to do it? He's, about to be 65 years old, does not want to retire at all. And it's not about the money to him. Right. But I asked him those hard questions, and he said he wants to help people, but he went to school again after going to school for 12 years.
Wow.
Like, are you willing to do that? Right. Like, he went from college, then to Pittsburgh, then to St. Louis, then to UCLA, and then now in Indiana, basically for the past 29 years. So it's like, you got to really think about those things. Life can be long if you want it to be, if you enjoy the happiness of the pursuit, like you said. And I'm lucky that he gave me that real advice. Like, he saw me be passionate about podcasting, meeting people. My major in college was media and production. I love editing film and writing scripts and shooting and just being creative. Right. And he was like, I could help you get into the medical field with the snap of my finger, but it is not for you.
That's great.
Yeah. I want you to go pursue what you're passionate about. And I've been here, and he's my biggest fan. He's definitely going to listen to this episode. He listens to every episode, Jason, and he gives me a grade. I've gotten some C minuses, but that was year one. We're getting mostly A's these days.
That's great. Yeah, my dad, every time I send an email out, my dad would send a critique back. He's like, you know what, I'm just going to send you the damn email before I send it out to anybody else. You critique the shit out of it. I'll fix it.
Dads are funny. Right? They want the best for you, and they want you to go one way, but like, maybe this way, maybe that way.
Yeah, exactly.
My gosh, that's hilarious.
Like, it's a run-on sentence. I'm like, screw you, man. I like my run-on sentence.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a run-on sentence. What did your dad do then?
He's a teacher, a math teacher. And my mom was a secretary. So yeah, man.
Yeah. You've been getting harped on for that whole life then.
Oh, for sure. For sure. All the
time. But the Pythagorean theorem, I bet.
I remember the name, but it's like, who the hell remembers what the hypothesis of the
quadratic formula?
Whatever. You're never going to use that shit. Calculus. You're never going to use one calculus thing the rest of your entire life.
Never.
Like, who the heck does that? Unless you're like an engineer or whatever the heck. There's no like, that was my difficulty with some of the classes that I take. I'm like, when the hell am I going to use
this? Doesn't apply
ever?
To anything.
And nothing. And I'm just like, what in the
geometry? No. You know what you should do? I'm going to challenge you to do this, Jason. Next time you're out with your friends late night, everybody's in a real good mood. And maybe it's just because I love asking questions, but see how many people can remember random math formulas from back in the day. Yeah. And you might be surprised your friend that you least expect it remembers it.
That's a really good
idea. I couldn't pass that class. It's the only thing I remember.
That's right. I'm trying to spin my wheels. I can't think of any right now.
But I know, because you
pi times over 2, like r squared. I'm just like, how do you square an r? It's not even a number.
Anyway,
X, Y.
Enough about math.
Yeah, totally. Get off that topic quick.
Amazing. So I want to talk about Whet Travel and the hospitality and event industry. You mentioned in 2004 you launched it, and Fast forward to now, it's the world's largest floating dance music festival. You're also the youngest person to single-handedly charter a cruise ship, 2,000 plus people. And you've had over 15,000 people each year go to your events across 26 full ships, like you said. I mean, congratulations. Absolutely amazing. You've been
up to that. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. You've been acknowledged by Inc. magazine, ranked Whet the #4 fastest growing travel company in the country. That's badass. And I mean, it's unbelievable on all fronts. And you mentioned this earlier, Whet means to excite. And with all those things in mind that I just did, all your accolades, obviously that was at its core the whole time. What exactly does that mean to you?
Yeah, so Whet is kind of the core of what we do. It means to excite or to stimulate, and that's kind of the core of everything we do. We don't like anything normal. If it works, we try to break it. We try to innovate it, and we're always trying to do new things and just exciting, like the same thing over and over again. Like that just drives me nuts, and I drive my team nuts from that with that perspective a lot. But I'm always trying to be better, do better. Impact more and just do more and just have more and yeah, it's just the excitement of it, and just living an exciting life.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about, and just helping other people do the same.
Is that something that you certainly thought about a lot in the early days? Like, gotta have my reason why am I doing
this? Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's a big one. Start with why. I think it's Simon Sinek book or whatever. Yeah, that's a huge one, because there's going to be a time in anything that you do where you got to get through it. You don't want to do it anymore. And that why is what gets you through. And my why is helping other people and building those relationships and connecting. And that's to me, there's no financial value on that. And
couldn't agree more.
So yeah,
The one thing I've heard a lot about Groove Cruise specifically and all of the other events that you put on is the community, like you've mentioned many times here. It's people who come back. You guys like have this, like, if we could compare it to like a great restaurant, right? People spread the word about this restaurant, and it might be a small restaurant at first, and then they expand, and then they want people to come in this city and this city. And it's just a word of mouth thing that you've built here, right? Obviously, you guys' branding and marketing and talent that you bring in is superior and next level. I mean, like I said, you've been awarded for many different types of things. But I heard about Groove Cruise first through word of mouth, and I feel like that's so unique in today's, saturated social media world. Like, are some of the people, like you said, that 125 crew in the first, like, do you not rely on them? But it seems like your community does a lot of the heavy lifting for you in terms of spreading the word.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we definitely work hard to help people share the word. And that's, I mean, it's a very inclusive, non-judgmental place where people can wear what they want, do what they want in a safe environment, obviously with some rules.
Right.
And, but yeah, I mean, it's all about just bringing people. And I think it was, who was that marketer? He said that, and this one sticks with me. He wrote that Purple Cow book.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I can't remember his name. One of the more famous marketers these days. Yeah. But he basically said advertising is the cost of being boring. I was like, well, dang, that's kind of an interesting thing. So I actually stuck away from advertising for years. We do a little bit of it now, and just focused on just how, people telling people, because once you're signed up to go on a bucket list type experience, I mean, you want to bring your friends, you want to experience it with other people naturally. So yeah, we give people tools where they can bring people and earn commissions or free cruises and things like that if they bring a group of friends. So yeah, that's always been a core part of what we do. And it also keeps kind of the community tight too, because everybody's kind of the same passions and lifestyle. One of the first ones, somebody was like, how did you manage to get the class clown from every single school on a cruise ship?
That's amazing.
I was like, I don't know. We just started marketing to class clowns, and then we just got them all on board, I guess. I don't know.
Oh my God. I mean, it's so obvious that like this is important to you. You definitely strike me as the type of person who's, I mean, you go on every cruise, obviously. You've been on over 120 of them, right? Like,
120.
You're there, you're interacting with the people. And I think so many times people in the back end, right? Like maybe they want to stay behind the scenes and that's fine, but like you're there, like you're introducing yourself to the DJs, to the people that are coming. And I think that's so special and that's so unique. And it's clear why people want to keep coming back. It's like, you're kind of a class clown too, Jason. I gotta tell you.
I was a class flirt.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, just to hit on that. So what we call everybody that comes on the cruise the captain, and they're the most important person to us. And they steer the ship. They tell us where to go. They tell us what cruise line to work with, what food to serve, what artists to book, all that stuff. So we're very engaged in co-creating the experience. It's not about like people are like, oh, what do you want? Or what do you think is gonna be like? I don't care what I want. It's what do the people want? What do the captains want? They're the ones that are steering the ship. So I try not to get too much into that. My team will ask me like, what do you think about merch and whatever? And I'm like, it's not about me. Like I'll wear whatever the heck you give me. It's about them. And there's different types of entrepreneurs that I was at a Tony Robbins training, and there's the managing type of entrepreneur who's kind of more behind the scenes.
Right.
Then you've got like a typical entrepreneur that builds a company to sell it. And I didn't realize this until I went to this particular seminar. It's called Business Mastery. That I'm actually not an entrepreneur. Like I did not start my company to sell it. I didn't start, it started for those reasons. I built it to change the world. And for those reasons, I'm an artist, not actually an entrepreneur.
Wow. So
that was kind of a interesting epiphany that I had in that moment.
Love Tony Robbins.
He's been a humongous influence on me for sure. I listened to him even starting back in college, tapes back and forth to college at Central.
Wow.
And he was one of my first ones that I got into, and Zig Ziglar, and there's some other ones, but Tony Robbins definitely of all the ones has been had a huge effect on me for sure.
You are an artist, Jason. You are an artist, and you kind of mentioned this. Like I truly believe the way you guys are unique is by giving the people that are coming a chance to actually be the tastemaker. And that's what I wanted to ask you about, right? Like you guys are making an impact from a social perspective, a cultural perspective, like you said, being inclusive and everyone's welcome to come. I guess my question to you is, what type of company is Whet trying to be? And not to compare, but it's hard to not compare in the entertainment scene to the Insomniacs, the Holy Ships, the C3s. Do you look at them and try and do things differently, or do you really try and stay on course with your goals?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously look at all the other companies out there and who's doing what, and who's doing destination experiences and who's doing cruises. But in the end, I mean, nobody does what we do the way that we do it. So nobody can really compete with us in that regard. And something that you mentioned that was really unique is our captain's first philosophy and our customer service philosophy. I've heard that over and over and over again, especially first year events. They just can't get that. And I mean, it takes 5 years to figure out any business. I could be a podcaster. It's going to take me 5 years to figure it out.
It's taking me 5 years, yes.
Easy 5 years to do anything. So to figure it out how it works and who to work with and who drives stuff, just whatever.
Yeah.
So I've seen that a lot where there's businesses that just kind of come in and they're in it for the wrong reasons. They're in it for the money. Yeah, they have bigger lineups than us. They have bigger this and more marketing power. And it's Live Nation and AEG competing with us and William Morris competing with us and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, I just try to stick to my guns. And I'm just like, I know what I'm doing. I know I'm creating the best value out there in the planet. And, our prices are great, and our value that we give people and the community that we create, and that we actually care. We actually give a shit. And that was one of the things actually through COVID that was very unique about us. Was I was depressed in the beginning of it. Like, not gonna lie, like second time in my life, I was just like, damn, my revenue went from a lot to zero. And then we were having our biggest year yet in 2020. And it was just like, I mean, it was brutal just even thinking about that moment when things just kind of went downhill. But I was like, I'm in a bad place, but there's people that are way worse of a place than I'm at. So I was like, how can I take the resources that I've built over the last 17 years and give back and help people? So we created a COVID relief fund through my foundation called Whet Foundation. Yeah. And we ended up raising, thanks to all the artists and my team, which we completely pivoted, doing online streaming on Twitch and raising money on Twitch. And we raised $50,000. And then we had people in our community apply for grants. So we actually paid out 250 grants to people. And some of these situations that people were in. I mean, like, it was just like, wow, it was crazy. So, we weren't able to give a ton to everybody, but like even just a little bit to as many people as we can. And I think we did it the right way. And we were just very engaging through the whole process. We were open. I started doing what we call the State of the Ocean addresses. So I started doing that about once a month. I still do them every once in a while when there's new information. So just trying to stay active and stay relevant. And I think some companies definitely did really well with that. And a lot of them just kind of chilled back and maybe didn't help their community that was experiencing challenges, which they all are. And we're just about how can we help? How can we do better? And how can we just impact the world and make things good?
Yeah. And I think, again, that's what's unique about you guys. Like, it's not just you and your team, it's everybody involved. It's the DJs too. I mean, you guys.
Oh, the DJs were huge. The DJs were enormous. I mean, we had so many big artists that just believed in what we were doing, and it wasn't even a conversation. It was like, yes, whatever you're doing, we're in. Like, raising money, we're in. And it was just really cool to just be able to use our resources to help other people. It was really cool.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for all the artists and managers and agents and like everybody that really believed in what we were doing for the right reasons. Sometimes there's a lot of charities out there. I wouldn't say a lot, but there's a handful of them that just, you don't know where the money goes to and you have no idea. Where ours is fully transparent. We're a 501c3. The money comes in, there's no overhead. It just goes out to the to the right people or to the destinations that we go to. That's where most of the money goes to, except for during the COVID relief fund. So we work with orphanages, schools, and Salvation Army. We worked with in Dominican Republic. But yeah, we've had different projects that we work on in the destinations that we go to.
That makes sense. I was going to ask more about the Whet Foundation. It's South Florida, the Caribbean, and Mexico, right? Where you're offering lots of different programs to deserving children. That's truly amazing. I love that so much.
Yeah, so it's just I've always had a charitable component to my business, and I've always kept a portion aside to give to organizations, but I just didn't know where the money was going, and that was kind of the thing that drove me crazy. I just didn't know what was going on, so I wanted to create something where I knew and felt and saw the exact benefits. So we don't give money to other organizations. We actually go to a facility like an orphanages or a school of the one that we just went to in Costa Maya. They needed they weren't safe funded. This lady started the school and she had kind of no resources financially or other words. She just kind of started the school herself with her family to help the kids that were on the streets after school. So so she had like a roof that needed to be fixed. She needed the school painted. She needed a jungle gym. Somebody tried to steal the air conditioner and they broke it when they tried to steal it. It's like stuff like that. So we bought her all this stuff and then had it delivered and installed and all that. So instead of just giving money to the organization, which again, you don't know what that's really going for, we actually buy things for facilities, and then we ask them what they need. So if they need, generally it's school supplies and clothing, and then we actually ask all the group cruisers to bring those items. And then we have it's called destination donations. So we have a whole way that we work with a local destination and get stuff off the ship and get it to the kids.
I love that so much. I was very involved in IUDM and support for Riley Children's Hospitals in college, and cool. Did the dance marathons and stuff, and still very active in the community here too. So I really resonate with that, and I truly respect and commend you. You got to, man. Like I've thought about it so much over the years. I've felt truly blessed to be able to travel when I was young too. Like I mentioned, my dad was a doctor. We were able to go to conferences.
Sure.
I've been to a lot of different states. I was able to study abroad internationally in college, and it's very easy when you're born into that, right? And I think it's so important to always give back. And I'm grateful that my parents always made that an important aspect of my life, to understand that, it's not like this everywhere else.
No, definitely not. No.
Not at all.
And yeah, there's another quote. I'm just dropping quotes on this interview. And so another one that really resonates with me was when you give is when you're most alive. And I really do feel that one when I'm in that moment. Sometimes I feel like everybody wants to give back for the most part, but they don't know how, or they don't have a group of friends like organizing it and putting it together and being like, hey, let's go feed the homeless this Saturday, or whatever. It's not hard to go feed the homeless. Feed the homeless.
Yeah.
But just somebody just does needs to average, organize it, and where people feel safe, or whatever it is. And when you're actually out there doing things like that, it's like, man, your whole day, your whole week, like month, everything changes when you get in that gratitude mindset. Yeah, when you're giving is when you're most alive, for sure.
Totally agree. I think about that too. You don't give to get, you truly give to give. Have that selfish moment like we talked about.
Totally, yeah. No expectations.
Midwest guys right here. That's where it all starts at its core.
That's right.
That's right. Amazing. So we talked about the Grooves Cruise and how much success that's had, and amazing artists that you've brought on over the years. And we could go on and on about that. But I think what's so cool about what you're doing is how diversified you are with these events that you do on sea, the salsa cruise. Can we talk about this really quick? A ship full of salsa? What exactly is going on the salsa cruise?
Yeah, salsa cruise rocks. So it's a bit of an older crowd. I think our average age was like around 60-ish, and but families too. And it was great. So my ex-partner Myrna, she started it 19 years ago, and then we got involved, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, and then brought it to, it was a group on a cruise, like 600-800 people. We got involved, took it to a full ship, 2,000 plus people. Wow. And it was a great run. We worked with her for like 4 or 5 years, and we're not anymore. And I do wish her the best of luck. And she's got a cruise coming up in October. So yeah, I do wish her the best, and she's great. We've also done like rock cruises and heavy metal cruises and yoga cruises.
Yeah.
And been involved in a country cruise and some other stuff behind the scenes on a smaller scale.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it.
Well,
we have a board game cruise. We have corporate cruises, like American Eagle Outfitters, been one of our clients for like 8 years.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Perrier too, I saw, which is my favorite sparkling water.
Very nice.
That's right. I just think it's so cool, right? Like when you think about different types of, if I just think about music festivals, right? Like Detroit has Movement, which is a techno festival.
Yeah.
Chicago now has an Arc Music Festival in Lollapalooza. Los Angeles has the hard music events. New York has Electric Zoo. And those are all different demographics of people and target markets. And I think it's so cool what you've done with the motorboat and Shiprocked, right? Like when you guys are coming up with these ideas, are you going to the market and asking people directly, or how do you come up with new ideas to stay inspired for yourself and of course draw on new people?
Yeah, so sometimes we'll work with a company that does land events. So they may do land shows, so whether that's Latin or country or rock or metal or whatever, and then they've got that database. So we'll work with companies that do the marketing and the talent, because I don't know the first thing about Motorboat or Anthrax or Megadeth and so forth and Slayer.
Right.
Not that I don't like that music. I mean, I did like that music growing up. I still listen to it very occasionally, but
yeah.
When you have a whole cruise ship with all the same passions and all the same lifestyle like that, it is magical. It's unlike anything that I've ever seen. So whether that's all salseros or rockers or metalheads or ravers or whatever you want to call it, all the communities of people, it's just, it's hard to explain. It's like the magic that's created when all the people just have the same lifestyle is pretty special to see.
And that's the thing too, is you don't have to worry about going to a city, maybe where a culture is from a musical perspective. You get them out on a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean, and all of a sudden they're around all their favorite people, all their class clowns, like you said, sharing the love of music. I think that's what's so special about what you guys are doing. So I just wanted to bring that up. I think it's so dope.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Really cool, man. I want to ask you too about celebration marketing. You coined the concept of this. And I just want to see if you could just give the people an understanding of what exactly that means.
Yeah, so just focusing on people that are celebrating a life event. So whether that's a birthday, a bachelor party, bachelorette party, divorce party, just an anniversary. Yeah, of course. Are you kidding me?
Right, 2021. What am I thinking? Yeah.
I mean, you got a 50-50 chance, according to what
that's right. That's the market right there.
So yeah, just focusing on those people that are celebrating life moments, and just figuring out ways to market to them and add value to them. And we've done over 100 weddings, bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, divorce parties, whatever you want to call it, on board the ship, on board Groove Cruise. So it's it's very special to me and to the team to be part of someone's life like that. Like we had 6 proposals on the last group cruise. And when someone comes to me and they're like, hey, I want to propose to my girl. I'm like, whoa. We got to make this like epic. Like we're going to be in a fort. You got to come in on a white horse and like, like whatever it is. Like we got to make it really special. Or I'm like, all right, who's your favorite artist? Who's your girl's favorite artist? Or how can we surprise her or knock on their door or just, I don't know, whatever it is. Like, how can we make it just over the top awesome? So
wow.
Yeah. So I guess that's part of celebration marketing, but just kind of taking those life moments and accentuating it, making it more cool. special as we can, utilizing all our resources to do that.
You make them feel special. And that's kind of a hard thing to do. That's something that can't be taught. That's something that you have to try and do through experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, sometimes we're on a proposal where we'll have the guy send a box of like photos, and then we'll be like, all right, he's going to propose over here. Then he's going to come back to the room. We're going to have flowers in the room. We're going to have photos all set up in the room. So it might be on day 3 and the girl's out there like, get proposed to, and they come back to the room and there's like champagne with chocolate covered strawberries, photos of them all around the room. They're just like, I don't know, just like little moments like that. This is really special.
That is awesome. You could plan a hell of a wedding, I bet.
I did. We used to do like 10 to 20 destination weddings a year, and I just not a huge fan. No. It just wasn't.
No.
It wasn't as exciting.
Yeah, people are like, "Can you DJ my wedding?" And I'm like, "I'm not a wedding DJ." So I think that might be the same thing, right? Totally different vibe. When people come to us and they're like, "I want to get married on group cruise," they're like, "So can I do a onesie wedding? I want everybody in my wedding to wear penguin outfits." And then like and I'm just like, of course we could do penguin outfits. Like, why not? Yeah. Would you not have penguin outfits of everyone at your wedding in penguin outfits? Like, or we had a sunrise wedding with Dash Berlin. So that was pretty epic. It was like, I'm getting chills just thinking about this one. It was like their favorite artist was Dash Berlin. Their wedding song was Dash Berlin. I forgot what song it was, but anyway, so he DJ'd their wedding. It was like 6 a.m. The sun was coming up in the middle of the ocean, surrounded by all your friends. There was a whirlpool next to where they got married. There's like a hot tub with, people in it during the wedding. And like, it was all organized. It was really beautiful. And they had champagne for everybody. And then during his set the next night, he actually brought him out on stage, and then they did their first dance, like in the middle of his set. I'm getting chills.
They played his that song. Oh God, what was it? Shit. I might start crying if I think about it.
He's got all heartfelt emotional songs.
I can't remember. Yeah, he's got a bunch. I can't remember what it was. Dang, that's gonna drive me crazy. But anyway, so he brought him out. He stopped the music, brought him out, congratulated them for getting married the last night, and then like brought him out for their first dance. It was crazy.
That only happens on Groove Cruise. That's Whet Travel right there.
Yeah, totally. I agree. I'm not familiar with that happening.
That's so cool. That's something that they'll be talking about forever. They'll be taking their grandkids. Their grandkids are telling their grandkids.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, they met on Groove Cruise too. So yeah, it was a whole thing. Whole love boat thing.
Oh my gosh, that's so special, man. Jason, what's next for you? Maybe on a personal venture level. I know we got Groove Cruise coming up in January, which is super exciting. By the way, probably one of the best lineups I've seen, period, in general. Like I know a lot of those up and comers, and like of course John Summit and the Gorgon Cities and everybody like that, Claude Von Stroke, and I love that you put Barclay Crenshaw on there too, which is bad.
That's right.
But you're giving, I've been, like I said, doing this podcast for about 5 years now. So I'd like to think I have a pretty good pulse on up and comers, and the names I saw on there are so well deserving. And it's just really cool to see you guys giving a platform like that. But
that's amazing.
I had to say massive props, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. I got to give props to the talent team on that one. They live and breathe that stuff. And Cabin Fever and doing those live streams helped us a lot. And I think that was kind of the evolution of our lineup. Was we were just really watching people that were active during COVID and doing live streaming and giving back and like doing things like that, and listening to their Spotify plays and seeing who's got people following them on different social media. And that's kind of what helped us curate this lineup. So yeah, kudos to the talent team for Group Cruises. They definitely killed on this lineup for sure.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
So you're about to hit your 50th date though. What's the plan for the rest of this summer going into the new year then for you?
Rest of the summer, just keeping traveling in the RV. And yeah. So now that the cruises are finally starting again, that has been a massive challenge. We're the first hardest hit industry and the last industry to come back. So they finally started sailing a few weeks ago, and we were supposed to go on it. They told me yesterday that I could go on it today. And I'm like, well, that's not happening. So I'm supposed to go on the ship in a few weeks with the team. Mm-hmm. And normally we're doing this 8-10 months in advance, but we got this dialed in. I mean, we got this handled, but we already have a great team on board and we already know what we're doing. So yeah, we're finally gonna be able to go on the ship. It had $120 million in refurbishments about a year before COVID. So I'm excited to see all the upgrades and changes and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a pretty crazy industry in terms of how much they spend on these ships. Like the new ships are like $1 billion+, which is just, you can't even comprehend that.
No.
On a normal scale. Yeah, they're just floating cities. I mean, they're just crazy. So this is the biggest group cruise we've ever done. And then, there's just a lot of changes going on in the cruise industry as they work to make it the safest just the safest experience, the most health conscious experience, which it was before COVID anyway. Yeah. So that's what drives me nuts about how cruises kind of took the grunt of this whole thing, which was total BS. They had no testing of it while this was going down, and the cruise lines took all the grunt of this. It's unfortunate because cruise lines they're the only industry that has to report COVID cases or norovirus cases to the public and the CDC. So if there's two, you'll see this on the news right now. You'll see, there was 2 cases on a 4,000 passenger ship. It's like, okay, I get it.
It's not a big sample.
2 people.
When you think about it.
If you were to go test 4,000 people at a mall, at a hospital, on an airplane, at a resort, there is no way that you're not going to find 2 people out of 4,000 in any of those situations that do not have COVID. It's impossible. So they know exactly how to deal with these situations. They've been dealing with infectious diseases for decades. Yeah. They've been dealing with norovirus, which is I've had it once out of 127 cruises. It's just like, it's brutal. It's nausea, vomiting, whatever. It's just gross. And 24-hour bug, and then you're fine, but it's really contagious. So if they have an outbreak of that, it goes into the news and it's a big deal. It's all over everywhere. Oh, there was 200 people on a 6,000 passenger ship. They got the cruise bug, and that's just complete BS. Because like I said, like schools don't have to report an outbreak of norovirus or coronavirus. Hospitals don't. Malls don't. Like all these public places don't have to report it. So you'll never know that the school that you're sending your kids to has a coronavirus outbreak. You'll never go to the mall or the grocery store that has an outbreak of staff or, just whatever. So it just drives me nuts, but it just kind of is what it is with the cruise industry. It's kind of what we do, but I feel way safer on a cruise ship than I do in a hotel or an airplane or pretty much anywhere that I go. Cause they always, even before this whole thing happened with COVID, we're super on top of like wiping down everything like every couple of hours and just like making sure it's super safe and all the protocols and like all the stuff that they have to deal with the U.S. Health Department that other venues don't. And like, anyway, it's just lots of stuff that cruise lines have to
get it off your chest, Jason. This is a safe space. I appreciate you sharing that because I feel like 99% of people don't know that.
No, they don't. And it's unfortunately, it's going to happen. Like there's going to be articles on the cruise industry where there was whatever outbreak on ships and it's going to happen. It already is happening. And for crying out loud, if you're vaccinated, you can still get it. So yeah, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. That's a cold hard.
It already has, and it's going to keep happening. It's something that we're going to have to live with for the rest of our lives. It's not going to go away.
Yep.
It's not just, even if everybody gets vaccinated, it's not going to go away because you can still get it if you're vaccinated. It's always going to be there.
Yep.
So once we get over that hump of being like, okay, we figured out how to mitigate this so it's not as horrible of a situation. It's a more manageable situation. We can move on with our lives.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that perspective. I think that's a very mature way to look at it. It's kind of reality. And I think everybody needs to conform to understanding what you just said. Like, we have to move forward together as people and just get it over with and like just deal with it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, Groove Cruise is definitely going to go down in 2022, and I'm really excited to see how things pan out for you, my friend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This has been such a fun interview. Like I said before we started, I believe people like you, Jason, are the lifeblood of the industry, the hospitality industry, the entertainment industry, and on behalf of artists and fans, we thank you, and I really do mean that. Thank you. Appreciate that, Matt. Appreciate you having me on. Absolutely, man. This has been a fun episode. Congrats on all your success as well. Really appreciate what you're doing with the industry and all that. So I was already having nerves when you told me Dash Berlin story. Now this guy's telling me congrats. Oh, geez. Okay, I'll take it. Easy. I'll stop it. Well, you enjoy your road trip, my friend, and I'll talk to you very soon. And thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it. Have fun. Yeah, take a picture at the border for me, okay? I will. I'll get the lineup of the paparazzi there for you. Yes. Sounds good, my friend. You have a good day, and thank you again. Hey, what's up? And thanks for watching that video. You looking for more content now? I got your back. Go to my YouTube channel right now, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you turn on all notifications so you never miss any upcoming exclusive artist interviews, Sherman the Booth clips, new music, live sets, and more. This is your one-stop shop for everything electronic music. Cheers.